Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today Lucy and I are going to show you how I build this acrylic sign using the Glowforge. I'm going to list in the description below all the parts and materials that you're going to need for this build. And I'm also going to include my Glowforge referral code. It's a code that you can use if you're planning on buying a Glowforge. It'll save you up to $500 off your purchase. So please use that code if you're thinking about buying one. And also guys, please like and subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. So with that said, let's get ready to start this build. The first thing I do is design my sign. I then head out to Etsy.com and purchase a couple of SVG files. I open up Adobe Illustrator and I incorporate those SVG files into the main design. Once I'm sure that my design is perfect, I create an SVG file of it and load it into the Glowforge. Now that we've installed and aligned the white acrylic sheet in the Glowforge is now cutting out the design. The Glowforge is basically cutting out a white puzzle. Since the acrylic is white, all the pieces that it's cutting out will be white as well. But remember, we're using red, blue, and black. You'll see how that works out later in the video. I remove the cut acrylic and place it onto a work table next to another piece of acrylic. This is red acrylic that I'm going to use for the backing of the sign. All the pieces will be glued to this backing. I picked red because it complements the sign. I now grab my 3/4 inch double-sided adhesive from 3M. I start to stick the double-sided adhesive all along the sides of the sign using an Extacto knife to easily cut the tape. Once I'm done putting it on all 4 sides, I then remove the protective backing of the adhesive. I now grab the first outer frame and I adhere it to the backing. I line it up carefully. Once lined up, I start to press down to firmly stick the top frame onto the backing. I then remove the protective masking off the top of the frame. I then grab the next inner frame, which I cut out of black acrylic. I carefully position it and start to press it down into place, making sure that it sticks well to the backing. I then start to remove the protective masking that's on top. I then grab the biggest piece of the design and I pull it up, allowing all the letters to come out. As you can see, all the letters are white, and just remember, do not throw these letters away because you're going to need some of the white pieces later on. I now flip the main piece over and I place it on the work surface. I then grab a corner and I start to peel off the protective backing on the back side. I now grab my 1/4 inch 3M double-sided tape and I start to cut pieces and I adhere them to the perimeter of this piece. I use the Extacto knife to easily cut them to size. I then grab my 3/4 inch double-sided tape and I start to stick pieces all along the back side of this piece. I now start to remove the backing off the adhesive. Once I'm done, I get the sign and I turn it right side up. I carefully position it over the backing, line it up, and start to press it into place. After pressing down on every inch of the sign to ensure that it is adhered properly, I can now grab a corner and start to peel off the protective masking that's on top. Now there's one part of the sign that you may not have noticed. It is where I did some engraving. It says, "I was there game 2." If I leave it white, it's not going to be seen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some black acrylic paint. I'm going to squeeze a dab onto a paper plate. I'm going to get a paintbrush and I'm going to start pressing in the black paint into the engraving. I'm going to paint and I'm going to push and I'm going to make sure that I get black paint in every nook and cranny of the engraving. I give it a couple of light coats and I allow it to dry. After it dries for a couple of minutes, I then grab a blow dryer and I start to blow dry the area so it completely dries hard. I now grab a scrap piece of acrylic and I use the flat edge as a scraper. I begin to gently scrape off the dried paint off the white acrylic. I continue gently scraping until I get all the paint off. I now grab a paper towel and I begin to wipe clean the area, making sure I wipe up all the little pieces of dried up black paint. Now that that is done, I am ready to start cutting out the red and blue letters. I created a whole bunch of different SVG files for the red letters and the blue letters. I also created an SVG file for the small frames. I'm going to open up this SVG file and load it up into the Glowforge, and I'm going to have the Glowforge cut out the smaller two black frames. I'm using black acrylic here. I will now have the Glowforge cut out the last two remaining pieces of black acrylic. I now position and adhere the two black picture frames to the backing. I now remove the masking from the top of the picture frames. Now it's time to cut the bigger blue letters, and what I do here is I cut off a section of the masking off the blue acrylic. The reason I'm doing this is so that I can peel off the masking and then use 5-inch double-sided tape and put it in that area. That way when the Glowforge cuts the letters out, the letters will be cut perfectly, and so will the 3M double-sided adhesive. You'll see in a bit what I'm talking about. I use the Extacto knife to cut a straight edge, then I use a flat edge that I used earlier to remove all the air bubbles. Once all the air bubbles are removed, I place it in the Glowforge. I position the SVG file right over the area where I had the double-sided tape, and then I allow the Glowforge to cut out the letters. Once it's done, I remove the piece of blue acrylic and I have the letters remaining. As you can see now, the backside now has perfectly cut pieces of 3M adhesive, which will now make sticking these to the backing super easy. So let's go ahead and remove the masking off the top of all the letters, and then we're going to remove the masking off the back of the adhesive, and then we're going to start sticking down the letters. Now I start to remove the protective backing off the adhesive, and I start to position the letters in place. Just like a puzzle. Very easy. Once in place, push down firmly to ensure that the letter sticks. After I do the C, I do the H and the A, and then we're going to continue with the rest of the letters. I'm getting ready to wrap up this project. All I have to do now is print out some pictures and a World Series ticket, take it to the laminator, get it laminated, cut, and I will be done with this project. Okay guys, Lucy and I are going to go ahead and consider this project done. I think it came out really good and it looks really professional, and I know for a fact my friend is going to love it hanging on her wall. And if you're thinking about buying a Glowforge, don't forget to use my referral code. It'll save you money. And also guys, please like and subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. So with that said, until the next build, hope to see you there. Have a great day.